Welcome to the CRollur and Willy podcast. I'm CRollur.
And I'm Willy.
And I'm Lee.
So, Lee, tell me about yourself a little bit.
I am from Port Clinton. I own a small marine repair shop. I teach part-time marine trades at a local trade school. Have a few kids. Living the dream.
What do you do for entertainment?
Beyond work, right now we're working anything from 70 to 80 hours a week. We're working 7 days, 10 to 12 hours a day. So entertainment's not real high on my priority list, but we do have a campsite out on the bay. We spend some time at our campsite, usually in the evenings on Friday or Saturday night. A little boating, swimming, alcohol, normal middle age thing.
I went out on a boat with you.
I know you were out
You're on the
during
boat.
the family reunion. Yeah, we took our little Boston whaler out to the bay and out into the lake. That was the newest boat in the fleet. It's a little 17, quite a lot of fun. The kids actually enjoy it quite a lot. We've been slowly upgrading it. We bought it right, and
How many people can fit on that boat?
the little 17, safely 2, 4, 5, maybe 5.
5 people.
After you get past about 5 people, you start to just not enough room in a little.
That's why you gotta try to get little people on that boat. You can fit a little more, huh?
Well, we take the kids out. I mean, we go tubing, so we have 2 adults and 3 or 4 kids. So
So that's plenty of room for everyone then.
Oh yeah. Yep. You've got 2 seats in the middle. You've got kind of 2 kids can sit on the seats in the front, and then you kind of flip back, and there's 2 more seats. So I guess technically, if they got small butts, you could fit 6 or 7. But
Easily.
yeah,
Easily.
normally we just go 5.
So about with the boating and everything, how hard is it to get your boating license? You just go to the BMV and
No, it isn't hard at all. Actually, you can do it all online. You can go to Towboat US, and they offer an online course. Anyone born after, I want to say 1982, has to have a license to operate a boat or a jet ski here in Ohio. But you take a course; it's super easy. You do have to actually take it. You can't.
yeah, right.
Like everybody's like, "Oh, I'll just skip to the test now." I guarantee you will fail because they're going to ask some arbitrary questions about freighters and.
It's funny you mentioned that because my fiance was trying to take her hunter's safety course online, and she skipped through a lot of the videos and everything. And then when she got to the final test, she bombed it.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Same exact thing. I've got guys that are like, "I've been boating forever. I'm going to go ahead and just take it." No, you.
No. There's a little bit more to it, buddy.
There is, and it's kind of a funny thing because you'll never use that part again, but it's good to go over it anyway. And Towboat US put together a great program. It's state certified. Once you're done with it, they send you, or you can print off a little registration card that you completed it, and that allows you to go boating in Ohio legally.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you this too because I don't get to talk to people that boat a lot. So, with the speed of boats, they go by knots, right?
Yeah. I mean, officially, if you're somebody who is super nautical, you're going to go knots.
So, what's the difference between knots and miles per hour?
It's very close to the same.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. We usually, as a mechanic, I usually go with miles per hour because that's what most of my customers operate in. But yeah, if you do the knots to mile per hour conversion, it's fairly close.
Okay. Okay. So, if you're going 55 knots, it's still considered close to 55 miles per hour. Then.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't even remember if it's knots or more or less. I want to say that knots read less, so you'll be going faster. So say you're doing 55 knots, you're probably doing 63 or 64, as I recall. We'd have to check the conversion, but yeah, today most guys don't screw with knots; they are straight up
miles per hour. Yeah.
Yep. So unless you get a blow boater, we get those sailboaters in this world that they are a breed of their own.
Yeah, the only time I really hear of knots at all is with wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you can be going against wind, right? And it'll slow you down, but you're still going
you're still heading forward. It's crazy.
You're still heading forward, but you're getting slowed down by the wind. But your boat motor is still trying to hit that miles per hour, basically, right?
Well, what you're looking at is we usually use speed over ground. There is speed over water, which is where they deduct out the negative there. So there's a paddle wheel on the boat. And they know that it's going so fast this way, and you're trying to go so fast that way, and there's extra water coming off. Again, that's something that was from more years ago. Most of my customers are fishermen. They don't care about that.
Yeah.
What they care about, can I troll at 1.6 miles an hour? Can I get my boat up on plane? Where can I operate my boat the cheapest? And, kind of teach them how to get the boat up on plane and not get into the 4 barrels or not get into the higher speed just so they get a little
Like
bit
with
more.
fisherman boats, do you think it's recommend for them to use electric motors, or would you just say just use the gas ones?
Oh no, we haven't gotten to the point where electric's going to be viable yet. And thank God for me, because I am a formally trained outboard marine tech engine, gasoline engine. And let's face it, on the horizon is going to be electric or hydrogen or something that isn't going to be what I know.
Right.
And thank God I've only got 20 more years of this crap and I'm done.
It's gonna be years to electric,
Yeah, and that's by the time that comes out, first it'll be all proprietary. Mercury Marine is pushing right now to get some larger outboards out in the electric field. But the biggest problem that they're running into there is that gasoline is inherently dangerous because it's flammable. Let's face it.
Right, yeah.
And gasoline doesn't mix with water; it floats on water. There are definite safety issues with gasoline motors, but by and large, they're very safe. I mean, if you get a hole in your boat and it goes down, it sucks, but not the end of the world. You
Right.
probably are okay. With an electric boat, now we start talking about lithium ion, lithium polymer.
That's a lot of
lithium
pollution
iron.
right there.
Well, not only that, but lithium is highly reactive with water.
Like,
So,
what would
have
it do
you,
with water, though?
Have you ever seen those videos where like they take just a little strip of lithium and put it in water?
It explodes.
Really?
Oh yeah. so now we're going to put an incredibly flammable / explosive item in a boat, but we're going to seal it. Problem is I don't know about you guys, but you guys build a product. Are there ever any recalls or ever any misbuilt product at your company or plant?
Yeah.
Never. No, come
Yeah.
on. Well, that's going to happen with batteries too. No matter how well we put them together, no matter how many times you safety check them, you're still going to get.
Well, with our
failures.
company, that's why we do these so-called pilot runs, and we
Try to get all those worked out.
yeah,
Well, even then, you gotta realize, like back in the day, cell phones had this problem. Samsung shipped a bunch of phones out with batteries that were unsealed and they were blowing up.
They were in people's pockets. They were catching on fire. I remember that.
man.
Yeah,
And then you have to add the other problem with boats, which is boat owners. You will get guys who there'll be big stickers on top that says "Do not drill here, fuel tank," and they will drill there.
Oh.
Now in the fuel tank, that's a problem. In a battery, that is an explosion. so yeah, I think we're gonna be okay with my choice of trade for some time. I don't foresee us going fully electric in boats anytime soon.
Anytime soon, because like you said, it's more dangerous with the electric, than it is
Well, and
gasoline.
like we talked about the other thing about the engines earlier before we came down here, what you see, a little car or a little gas engine, we can quickly refill it and you can go back out on the water.
Yeah.
A battery powered vessel, the best battery powered vessels that we have out right now are only capable of doing like 20 miles. And that's 20 miles at medium speeds. At higher speeds, they're only good at like 5.
And then
So-
you better have a paddle.
Yeah, exactly. And these are boats that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. They have not been able to get a large enough battery or storage capacity thing in a boat to really make it valuable yet. Now,
Right.
Is that going to come? Yeah, I'm sure battery technology is going to continue to come around. There's going to
The only
be
way
ways
for the battery to work, I think they would have to have a reserve battery, in case,
Well, but they're so big. It's
Yeah.
the problem. I mean, and they weigh a lot. That's the other thing. A small boat, even with a small engine, say you had a 50 horse electric motor or 75 horse electric motor, you need a battery as big as the boat. You're going to be jamming battery everywhere. Well, that's all weight.
And you can't do solar on boats, can
No,
you?
there isn't enough room there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do that.
So,
all right. So yeah, I don't have a boat though, so my entertainment comes through video games and TV and movies and stuff.
well,
And I know you got what is it, Voodoo or something?
I do. I am a major Voodoo subscriber, I guess you would call it. I don't. I hesitate to say subscriber because it's not really a subscription service, but
You just put the code in and
yeah.
you got
Well,
it.
it started. I've always had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies, VHSs, DVDs. I've always been an avid movie collector. Well, we used to buy the Blu-rays and even the HD back in the day, and they'd come with a little thing that said, "Put the code in, and you can put it on Voodoo."
That's
So-
my problem. I never put that code in.
Oh, well, we always did. And then we started looking, and we're like, wow, we got a couple hundred movies in this Voodoo thing. So for a while, I used to use PlayStation to buy a video here and there. And then we decided, the wife and I, we said, okay, we need to kind of limit this down so we don't have some of our movies on PlayStation or Sony and some of them in Amazon and some of them over here. Like, it was like, okay, who are we going to go with? And Voodoo was owned by Walmart. And now I think it's Voodoo Fandango. Or
Wait,
something.
Walmart owned Voodoo?
Well, they're in bed together, close enough.
Huh.
I
I thought Voodoo was like its own company. I didn't know like Walmart was affiliated.
they're affiliated
Yeah,
with
okay.
it. Yep. So we said, I don't think Walmart's going away tomorrow, so we'll go there. It was either that or Amazon. And I've been told horror stories of people that have gotten locked out of their Amazon account. So yeah, no, I ain't doing that.
I don't like Amazon anyways because you pay for Amazon Prime subscription and it's supposed to get you a bunch of stuff, but a lot of the stuff is still pay per, like you still have to buy the movie anyways.
Oh yes.
And the
Well-
TV series and all this. Whereas like if a Netflix account, everything's free. On Hulu, there's tiered, but if essentially everything's free once you free or free with ads. But with Amazon, you have to pay for everything individually.
Right.
There's only a few options that are just free, even with Amazon Prime subscription.
Well, my problem with Amazon is like I can find a good movie and they're very vague on the what the movie's about, and I'll click that movie and then I find out it's like in Russian or something. You know?
Subtitles.
Yeah. And
Um,
I don't like reading, so
Well, I don't mind subtitles, but
I wish
if there's like
I wish they would
dub it.
dub it or tell me that it's gonna be in Russian or something,
like let you know up ahead of time.
Yeah, not when I click it on, I'm like, yeah, fuck this, and I back out of it and try to find something else.
No, I know Willard was interested in sci-fi movies. Do you have any particular sci-fi movies that you watch on Voodoo,
I do like certain movies.
or even TV shows?
More TV shows. I'm definitely more into the TV shows, and not to be cliche, but I like Firefly, which I never understood why they took the space cowboy out of circulation after one season. It was really a shame that they did that whole series in. But big into Stargate. Stargate's probably my favorite sci-fi TV show.
I only seen the one movie.
Oh, the movies on Stargate, they're not very good.
I mean, I thought I liked it because I never seen the TV show, so
They make so much more sense if you've watched the show because you'll catch so much more of the
There are-
behind the.
was
There are
Kurt Russell
multiple-
ever in Stargate?
He was in the original movie, but not in the spinoff. They picked
Okay.
up MacGyver, Robert Dean Anderson, to play the main protagonist in Stargate, and he made, oh my gosh, he went through like 8 or 9 seasons. And it was actually the only reason I got into Stargate was that as a kid I liked MacGyver. And when he was no longer MacGyver, I was like, well, where does this dude go? He's kind of fun to watch. And he went into Stargate and totally the opposite in his character. In MacGyver, he is anti-gun, like he is just like a Boy Scout. And in Stargate, he is like, let's shoot these bastards first and we'll ask questions later. And he even makes a few references early on, kind of making fun of that, which was fun to see. But no, I do like Stargate. There's a lot of seasons there. If somebody out there was going to watch Stargate, I would actually probably skip the original series and go straight to Stargate Atlantis. I think that was.
I
Probably,
heard of that one.
I think that's probably their funnest series. It's a fairly short series, so you can pack it in, as a long watch over a week. And there's a lot of ups and downs, and you don't have to know all the characters because they're fairly new, almost everybody, even with a
Right.
couple cameos. But no, I do Battlestar Galactica, Deep Space Nine, most of the Star Trek stuff, Babylon 5.
So you know all of them.
Farscape was another one that I really enjoyed with the
Ooh,
little,
I like that one.
I like the Muppets, the Jim Henson Muppets in there. They make me smile. So, but it's so fun because none of them really make sense. And that's, I think, the beauty of sci-fi is that it lets our imagination kind of run a little wild. And
It's basically they're going in a portal and they're going to a different.
Yeah, there's someplace new. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and
it's gonna be different every time.
Yes, and it's so funny because we all watch these and. You'll get Trekkies that won't go out with, Stargaters, and you like all these different factions. Well, like it's the same damn story, just different. You got
the biggest one is Star Wars versus Star Trek, though.
Oh yes.
that is huge.
Star Trek was too boring for me. I'd rather stick with Star Wars.
For the longest time, I would have tended to agree with you, and I think that's why I liked Stargate more. Was that it was less about the political side of it.
Right.
The underlying tones. It was more action, which is what got me into it. But I don't know. As I've gotten older, like I said, I really don't have a problem with any of them. They all have their pluses and minuses. So
I think Star Wars went downhill after,
the Disney acquisition.
Yeah.
Oh, but that does remind me. That's probably going to be the question on Spotify for this podcast. Probably Star Wars versus Star Trek. But I've also had a couple other Spotify questions that I'm actually glad people have answered, like Pepsi versus Coke. Turns out 75% of the people that answered it like Pepsi. Coke. And then Crocs versus no Crocs, like 60%.
Oh, come on, guys.
You're in the minority, dude. 60% of people did not like Crocs. And then between GM, Ford, and Chrysler, it was the split 50-50 between like GM and Chevy versus like Chrysler and Dodge-ish. For some reason, Ford got no votes. I don't know why.
Because I didn't vote on it.
Well, you should have voted.
Yeah, I'm going to vote now.
But yeah, if you want to vote on the question, you could just hit up Spotify on your phone. It'll pop up. I hope you're enjoying our podcast. Please share with your friends and family or anyone who you think would enjoy it. It would help a lot. Also, if you haven't, give us a like and follow us on our new Facebook page. We are looking forward to posting content for you, from previews, behind the scenes, and even extra content. Thank you very much.
But no, other than that, my Voodoo account, oh my gosh. I think we have 1,200 movies and
1,200 movies?
Yeah. You watch Doctor Who?
I do a little of all the sci-fi type stuff that I've never been able to get into. Doctor Who is it.
You're not into Doctor Who?
Not at all. My wife watches it. My brother, you guys. I just do not get the humor in that show at all. I'm not big into British humor.
Wait, it was supposed to be funny?
That's what I thought.
Well,
is it supposed to be funny?
I just started watching it yesterday.
I
didn't laugh at all.
There's supposed to be a mix of like action and sci-fi, a little bit of British humor in it, but
I didn't laugh at all.
It's more it's more just sci-fi to me.
Oh yeah, I
more sci-fi adventure, I guess.
I tried and I just couldn't bring myself to it. We use it now as what we call the sleepy movie. When I put it on, it's so boring to me that I fall asleep.
You guys ever watch Shaun of the Dead?
I do.
That's British comedy, and I didn't think it was that funny either.
I like that show.
It was a movie.
So, oh yeah, and then they
Hot
had the second
Hot
one
Fuzz
too.
Hot Fuzz. And then they had.
We don't have that. I know we don't have Hot Fuzz.
That one was actually kind of funny because you got to like actually pay attention to get some of the jokes, and I don't like having to overthink with British comedy.
We'll say when it comes to the British stuff, or just European in general for us, we enjoy the Sherlock Holmes series on BBC. That was a great movie series.
It wasn't supposed to be funny though, right?
Yeah, there's funny parts, but it was meant to be semi-serious.
See, I think that's why a lot of Americans like that show because there wasn't like hidden British comedy in that,
Quite as much, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, man, what was the other one? Top Gear. I like Top Gear and I like the Grand Tour, which are just car shows. The old Top Gear with the traditional hosts. And just they do some really redneck hillbilly shit over there, and I love it. They do weird things with cars that we wish we could do, and they are just living the dream, man.
Right.
So
they did make an American version of that show.
Yeah. What was that called?
they have the Grand Tour. They have American Top Gear, which it sucks.
For some reason, almost everything from that's actually good from over there. The only one I know of is The Office, because otherwise everything that they've had that came over here seems to flop. Like
Did The Office
the
start
IT
over there? I thought it was the other way. I thought we had The Office and they adapted it over
it
there.
might be.
I
that
think
might-
we had The Office.
That might be because they
and
there's
they
flop.
adapted it. Yeah.
Okay, because there's other ones like the IT Crowd and Taskmaster. Both those were British shows that came here and flopped.
Yeah, they did flop.
But no, it's movie wise. I mean, I collect everything, and I have stuff in my Voodoo account from documentaries.
So
to-
you're using more digital than you are DVDs.
totally. I don't
Yeah.
think I've touched a DVD, even video games. I haven't touched a disc. Cool. In a year or two.
No shit.
I think
Yeah.
the last video game I've had a disc for was the Spider-Man game.
I think Borderlands. One of the Borderlands is the last one, and it's still in its package because my son's like, "Dad, what's this game?" And I was like, "You can't play that." So
I think my problem is I always buy like the cheaper versions of the system where I don't have the memory to. Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is now they copy onto the disc anyway, so you might as well.
the only thing they use it for is just to prove that you have the disc, which is so
That's
stupid.
it. That's it.
Yes, they put it on the system and they don't run it from the disc. I'm with you, Nate, because I look at
The
that.
most
stupid.
annoying part about that is it spins up the disc, which is loud and noisy on the new sound, like the PS5. It's loud.
Do you have a PS5?
I do.
How do you like that? Because
I want a PS5.
piss on you both. I want Xbox Series.
Well, the
I
controller
like it,
vibrates on the PlayStation though. Like the pedals actually get like stiffer, when you're driving and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, at this point, I feel like really the difference between the two systems are what friends you have on the system.
What games? Yeah.
The
And even
games,
that-
the games aren't even that exclusive anymore.
which is crazy. I mean, it used
Yeah,
to be.
everything's like
I think
cross-platform.
Microsoft's been the one that's attempting to make exclusives in the recent years because they're buying out companies.
Mhm.
But otherwise, most companies are multi-platform at this point.
I mean,
I'll tell
if you're a big Halo fan, don't get a PlayStation.
Well, for me, what it boiled down to, one was availability. It was going to be whichever one came up first, whether it was Xbox or PlayStation. Because I've traditionally, up until this generation, I have been strictly PlayStation since way back in the day.
What do you think about Nintendo?
I have one. They're a fun kid system. My wife likes it. That's no glowing.
I mean, that's why I've been playing. So
You can get some games that aren't kid-oriented on it, but
yeah, but even
Like
then,
Mario?
they're neutered.
Mario's not a kid's game.
So
it is.
yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah, I
is.
guess it is.
Even Zelda, like I'm a big Zelda and Link fan, and I've been watching my kids play their version of Elden Ring, which Zelda. They watch Dad play, and they're like, "We're gonna play ours." I'm like, "Okay." I let them play, and I just look and I think, man, these are graphics from like 10 years ago. Are you kidding me? Like,
How far are you in that Elder Ring?
I just made it through the fire giant, which probably doesn't mean shit to you, but
Well, I never
he was
played
a-
it.
He was a bitch. And for the most part, I play by myself. I play a little bit with my father-in-law.
You don't jump into other people's games. Or,
I do.
like if you need help, you don't try to get other players to help you, or
Nah, I part of this game for me is I like playing it difficult. I mean, like somebody came over, actually my father-in-law came over and he plays, which is interesting. And I was trying to beat a dragon. It was Lick Dragon something or another. And I must have tried this guy 15 times in a row. And Jim's like, well, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to try until I figure out what works. Well, why don't you get a guide? Because that would make it fun.
So you like the challenge?
Oh, yeah.
So
I
you
like trying to figure things out for the most part on my own. Now, does that mean I won't get a guide? Hell no. There's times when just piss on this.
See, me and CRollur got in an argument like a couple of days ago because he was like, "Well, you play every game on easy mode." I'm like, "I don't like the challenge. I just want to know the story."
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I
feel
beat
like
every
part of
Halo game on
playing-
easy mode.
part of playing some games is the challenge, though. I mean, like the whole point of Elden Ring and Dark Souls and Demon Souls and all that is the challenge. So if you're going for a game like that, And your whole thing is I play games on easy mode. That contradicts your entire point of playing that game.
I don't think necessarily. At least not in Elden Ring or Demon Souls, Dark
There
Souls.
is no easy mode on those games.
Well, there is. That's the sad thing. If you over
There
level
is.
yourself, if you're willing to go out and do some hardcore farming of easy characters, just a lot of farming, you can over level your guy where he's just can take a hit.
Yeah, someone hits you and it's like a piece of paper.
Yeah. Now, does that mean that the first character that you run into in the game still can't kick your ass? No, because in these games, everything can kill you.
Then
No
you gotta
matter
start
how
over again.
high level you are, everything can kill you, which is what's fun, I think.
But yeah, like with that, like I don't find some games fun on easy. Like if I'm playing like Civilization 6, if I play on the easiest mode, I can win every time. I don't find it fun.
You don't like winning?
Not if it's such an easy win that I can guarantee that I'll win and never lose.
That's why you
There's-
change it. You change it up. You let the computers get ahead, then you come back.
Well,
Or you
Nathan's
could just
just saying,
change-
or you could go up a level.
Yeah.
Playing on easy all the time isn't necessarily the most fun, in my opinion.
And I can't stand games that don't even have difficulty like changes.
Hmm.
You guys ever played Dead Space?
I have not.
Neither have I.
Easy mode was actually hard.
The game was just playing hard, and harder.
Yeah, basically.
That's fun.
Yeah, and it was actually a scary game too. Like if
I
you guys-
remember the picture from the box was like a hand floating in space. or
Yeah, if
something.
you guys are into sci-fi, I think Dead Space would be the game for you because that's basically like the biggest sci-fi game you can possibly get, and it's scary.
I go back a little bit. Back on, I want to say like the Dreamcast. There was a sci-fi game like that where you started off just getting woke up and you had to find your way through the spaceship, but it was blocked off. And I want to say that the antagonist in the game was like an invisible monster or something. I mean, it was very psychological.
You had a Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, I started at 8-bit. I had an Atari, but I really started at 8-bit. I mean, I think everybody had the Nintendo, and hell, Nathan and I, when we were maybe a wee bit smaller, we used to play the track pack, Olympic track pack with the little pad that you walked like this, and then you jumped to the next one, made your little guy run across the screen.
Speaking of easy mode, rather than running, you could just
You
do
can
what
smack.
you do.
Yeah.
You can just take a couple drumsticks and go.
Well, or you could have an adult, just step on one of your buttons on the back, which would totally screw you. Just to keep things even.
Did you like the Dreamcast, or you?
I did. I really enjoyed the Dreamcast. It had so many innovative and forward-thinking thoughts and ideas. It ran a Windows operating system. It had a freaking modem. It was designed to be networked with multiplayer, and it totally flopped.
What made it flop is because it couldn't
People couldn't trust Sega. Is what I think really it boiled down to, was that they had brought out the Sega Saturn, they had brought out the Sega CD, they had brought out the Sega 32X.
I never heard of the 32X.
It was like a cartridge. You put this big thing into the top of your 16-bit Genesis, and then you could put 32-bit games in to compete with PlayStation. And then they decided that didn't work very well, so they brought out the, I want to say the Sega CD on the side, which only had like 10 games or something. And then they scrapped all that. They went Sega Saturn, which again was innovative, etc., but they never really backed it up. They had like Virtua Fighter, and they had Daytona USA. Gosh, what was the other big one that they had? I'll think of it. But yeah, it just seemed like Sega was lagging at that.
Right. Then, you look at modern technology now. You got the brand new, PS5. You got what's the new Xbox called?
Series X.
Series X.
Yeah, Xbox.
Do you think they put forced activism in games too, or
what do you mean?
They try to hide things like propaganda in games, where
Oh, I think to some extent. I think more so in the movies that we talked about.
Yeah, they try that.
I've definitely gotten so tired of, and every movie in this world does not need to have every ethnicity in it. Every movie in this world does not need to have every sexual orientation in it. But everything that we're being force fed seems to have to tick boxes. Like they're afraid of losing a demographic. I mean, if you're gonna have a movie that naturally has characters that are of this ethnicity or this sexual orientation or this religion or whatever, that's fine. Make it, more natural. Not just a token here. We got this guy, this guy, this guy.
Right.
Right. That's what pisses me off, especially when I kind of have a checklist in my head when I'm watching a show and I'm thinking, all right, waiting for the Asian
Mark.
guy. Yep, got him.
Mark.
Waiting for the gay couple. Check, got him. Waiting
Got
for
him.
I mean,
In my opinion, a lot of times they're not even doing service to those groups because they're basically just token characters.
they really are.
They're
They're
not-
just there.
They're representation, not they're meant to be so that they could actually what's the term for it? So they feel like they blend with the character. What's it called?
I know what you're saying. I can't think of the word.
When do you think they started, places like Disney? When do you think they actually started doing it?
Ooh,
In the
late
last-
90s, early 2000s.
So
I was
movies
like
like
really in the last decade. Though.
okay, so movies like Aladdin and stuff like that. Did it start around that time or
I think after that. Because,
after that?
Yeah, because if you look at Aladdin and some of the others, I mean,
It was natural. It was natural.
You mean animated or the new
Animated.
live action?
Animated. I want to talk about the early stages when they started transitioning into, the whole activism thing.
I would say probably just after The Lion King. Again, I think around the early 2000s in the Toy Story era.
Yeah.
The beginning
Oh,
of the
talking about Toy Story, that new Lightyear movie, right?
That
showed
cracks me up.
They showed two girls kissing, and 6 countries banned that movie because of that.
Yep. And I will say this, talking about that political activism and things like that, the new Top Gun movie, they were going to edit it so that it could be shown in the Chinese market. And they took off of the bomber jacket on the main character the Taiwan patch. And they were going to do that. My understanding is Paramount finally nutted up and said, you know what, if you don't want our movie, fine. And I can't say that that's a fact for sure, but my understanding is that they actually grew a pair of balls and told China to get bent. This is our movie. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, tough.
I'm sorry, because I forgot that Toy Story is not Disney, is it?
It's Pixar.
It's Pixar, yeah.
Yep, and
so I was wrong on that one.
Well, but you
Disney
might as
and
well be Disney.
Yeah.
Disney and Pixar. Disney technically owns Pixar.
They're part
do
of, what
they?
is it, DreamWorks?
No.
Or,
No,
DreamWorks
Disney
is like
Pixar is actually
Monsters, Inc. stuff.
Pixar-
okay, you're right. Yep.
Pixar is a studio underneath Disney.
Okay, so okay.
Well, and do I care about, like you said, about two animated chicks kissing each other? No.
No, it was just like a little smooch. It wasn't like they did tongue to tongue, right on the little kids movies.
I think I can give an example of the difference between because I've been watching the animated She-Ra, and it's pretty much a female only cast. There's only one or two men in the whole thing,
And that's fine.
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
but that felt natural to me. But the whole female Ghostbusters thing felt
Oh,
literally they're just we're just gonna shove a primarily male cast and just swap them out with females and think that that's activism in some sort of fashion.
And-
It was lazy and not done well, and
worse
it
than
didn't
that,
work for anybody.
It was demeaning to men. I mean, I laugh because you look at the original Ghostbusters, and there is not great deals of demeaning content to women. They don't make it a big thing about the fact that there's men in it or not.
You
women.
think when it comes to future movies, you think they're gonna have to add a little bit of everything in every movie from now on, or they're gonna get criticized on? You
I
know
think
what I mean?
I think with the cancel culture and this generation and everybody wanting to be represented in everything, that yes, we're gonna.
So they're gonna have to put an Asian guy in a movie. They gotta put a black guy in a movie. They gotta put
Oh yes.
very little white people in the movie. Maybe put a a Native American in there.
I
The
think
only-
we're gonna see more and more of
Yeah.
that.
The only actual cultural activism that I'm actually for is when they're doing like an actual like cultural thing where it's like Japan or China
Right.
representation and they're using white people. I can understand that being a problem because we have plenty of actors and actresses that fit the bill better. But when it comes down to it, you don't have to fit these characters in a place that they're not supposed to be. You don't have to force a character in there when you have a movie that's about like Japanese culture or Chinese culture. That's a place to put Japanese and Chinese people.
All right,
in the acting
is that like the
position.
Mulan live action?
Yeah. What was the other
There was
one?
no white guy in there.
Well, no, but there was one that just lately that they somebody had to pull out of. Gosh, what was it? They were doing a movie and they came up to this actor and this actor was like, "Oh, I'd love to do this movie," and it was a white guy playing something else or a white chick playing something else,
Yeah.
and there was such an uproar that they pulled. She's like, "Ah," or he's like, "I'm out of this." No. I think there's better actors, like you said, and I kind of got a giggle out of that because, okay, I get it. You're an actor. You want to work no matter what. And
Right.
if you get picked, by all means. And there is such a thing as, I don't want to say star power, but let's face it, having and we've seen this in the States, there have been movies in the States where they cast basically like superstars from the Asian market or from like the European market and had them in our movie over here and their name was on the poster. We're like, who the hell is that? You
Yeah.
know? And over there, that's like they're fill in the blank Tom Cruise or, whatever.
Right.
So maybe it is about getting people, that are familiar with names that we're used to seeing.
Well, that's why they try to get the most popular actors or.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I'm not saying like it's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that there are appropriate times and inappropriate times. I feel like it doesn't help out anybody when you do it inappropriate.
I agree. And I think here in the States especially, and not to get overly political, but we are seeing a shift to trying to get more representation out there and not necessarily the best person for the job. And I see that with our government. We currently have a speaker for the White House who is the first openly gay black female, or we just had the first again, I think it was a black female that was on the Supreme
Well, the
Court.
problem is they're not finding people that fits the role. They're just like, oh, this person is.
They're
who
ticking
they-
the boxes.
It's who they are, like what they look like, and like whatever. And what the problem is, if they can't answer a question and they walk away from it, then they should not have that job, right?
Well, I just think that, when it comes to people running the country or people running a business or anything, I want the best candidate.
Yeah.
I don't care what color, what orientation, whatever. If you are highly skilled, highly capable, I want you in that position. And I'm not saying that the people that we've had and put up there don't know what they're doing. I just don't know that we've always picked the
the best candidate.
Yeah, and especially when they're representing us on a national or state or even local level. I want to see the best candidates.
Hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I've been CRollur.
And I'm Willie.
And I'm still Lee. I have bills involved getting here. I had to stop at the dollar store and get KY. I had to stop at the rape station and fill my truck up and use the KY. And there are bills involved with this podcast, I'm afraid.